what's going on, guys? Today I wanted to make another informal, candid video that can hopefully be done in one take, where I talk about conditioning for basketball players. So this is something that I get asked often about how basketball players should get into the best shape to play basketball. And this is something that I think a lot of players and coaches can understand, because their coaches want their players to be in the best shape possible so that when it comes to the fourth quarter, they can perform at their best. But at the same time, we need to think as coaches how to program conditioning while at the same time allowing our players to recover, and what is the most efficient way of getting conditioning in. Because at the end of the day, they're not conditioning machines. Nobody wants to run across country, right? That's not the goal at the end of the day. It's to be able to play basketball at a high level, especially for 40 minutes. So here we go. So when we look at conditioning, one of the things that we need to be thinking about is how can I get conditioning in as a byproduct of something else. So for instance, I strongly believe in not running my players up and down the court, doing suicides, doing 17s and 60s. I don't do that. And the reason is number one, it's not game realistic. Okay, you never need to do that. Never in the game do you have to go from sideline to sideline, okay, in that amount of time. Never do you have to go even from sideline to sideline once. Okay, so therefore for me, it's not game-like, and it's very general. But if I'm gonna get general stuff in, I'm gonna make sure that it's low impact on their joints. So that's the first thing. Second thing, just having them running back and forth is extremely ungame-like, because they never do that. Okay, they may run and then shuffle and then backpedal and then crossover run. Now I'm making it more game-like. But we need to, as coaches, we need to expand our minds, because just because our players don't want to throw up after the drill doesn't mean it's not effective. So I hope I'm making a little bit of sense here, okay? So when should they be getting their conditioning done? Well, in practice, because they're working so hard. And it's on us as coaches to demand that kind of intensity from them so that we get that as a byproduct, okay? We get that as a byproduct. So say, for example, we're working on transition offense or transition defense, okay? And I'm trying to make a point here by saying that, okay, I need you guys to fill the corners and the wings. So once they get the ball, say, for example, they need a head or they need a dribble, whatever your philosophy is, but they need to be doing it quick, okay? And once there's a make or a miss, they're going back down the other way. If you do this for 5 or 6 or 7 plays up and down, they are exhausted. Think about that. Just having them run from end to end, that's not realistic. But if they go up and down on misses and makes, that is exhausting, okay? And it may not look good, but that's okay. That gives them time as they're resting for you to get your teaching points in. So again, conditioning should be a byproduct of something that you're trying to work on within the game. Excuse me. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully that transition part makes sense. Second time that they should be working on transition is when they're doing individual skill work. Okay? Have you ever gotten up high amounts of volumes of shots? You may say yes. But if you're really getting up high volumes of shots, game spots, at game speeds, and there's someone rebounding for you, okay, you are exhausted at the end. And you can add running into it. So say, for example, they need to catch one dribble pull up, and then there's another person who passes to them, it's another dribble pull up, excuse me, and then they need to touch half court and come back. Well, they're getting good reps of the skill of different skills. It depends how many you want. Is it just a catch and shoot, or is it off the dribble, or is it off a pass and then relocate? There's literally infinite different options depending on how much experience does the person have and what do they need to be seeing in the game. And if you do it the correct way, it's exhausting. So individual skill work sessions or small group skill work sessions, great way to get extra conditioning in. So as you can see, I've yet to run a suicide or a 17-60 doing this whole thing. We are doing it through learning, through skill, okay? And conditioning is just a byproduct. Last place to do conditioning is after a strength and conditioning session, okay? Working on anaerobic capacity or anaerobic quality work, meaning you may get on an assault bike, an airdyne, a VersaClimber, a sled, rope slams, something that does not impact the joints, in my opinion, okay? Because they're already getting so much work in on the court, depending on how much you work with them, that I want them to do, say, intervals, hard intervals, sprints of 5 to 10 seconds on the bike as quickly as you can, and then getting maybe 40 to 50 seconds off. Yeah, 40 to 50 seconds. Why? Because I need to make sure that every single sprint is at a certain quality, okay? Again, I don't want my players to throw up at the end of every, they may, but my goal is not, I'm not going in there being like, I'm gonna make these kids yak today. No, that's never my goal. My goal should be, how can I get them in the best shape with the best risk to reward ratio, so that when they get on the court, they're recovered, they're feeling good, they're ready to learn, okay, physically and mentally, so that when I have something to teach them, they're ready to go, okay? We don't have conditioning week. I used to have hell week when I was in high school, and we wouldn't even touch a ball, we just run up and down, okay? How effective was that? It wasn't effective, because as coaches, we're always like, oh, we don't have enough time, we don't have enough time, we don't have enough time. I completely agree. So why don't we make more time, take away these old school or more traditional forms of conditioning, and condition them through learning, through the game, through skill development, and at the end of their strength conditioning sessions. Guys, you may agree with me, may not agree with me. Whether you do or whether you don't, okay, I want to hear what you have to say, because I respect you guys. I want to learn from you guys just like you want to learn from me. I'll talk to you next time.